When my mother remarried, I never imagined how much my life would change. It wasn't just about gaining a new stepfather, I also got a younger stepbrother, Daniel. At first, we were just two strangers forced into the same family, but over time, something unexpected happened. Daniel was 4 years younger than me, full of energy, always trying to prove himself. He wasn't just my stepbrother. He became my closest friend. We talked about everything: school, relationships, and even our frustrations with our parents. People around us often joked about how close we were, teasing that he had a crush on me. I always brushed it off, knowing how ridiculous it was. He was just a kid when we first met. But as the years passed, things shifted. Daniel grew into a man. He was no longer the boy tagging along behind me. He became confident, protective, and strangely attentive in ways I hadn't noticed before. He started asking deep, meaningful questions about my life, my happiness, and even my thoughts on love. I still saw him as my younger brother, but something in the way he looked at me began to feel different. One evening, we sat on the porch, reminiscing about our childhood. The sky was dark, the air filled with the faint scent of rain. He was quiet, lost in thought, before finally speaking. "Can I ask you something?" His voice was hesitant, almost nervous. "Of course," I said, expecting something trivial. What if I told you I had feelings for someone I wasn't supposed to?" I laughed, thinking he meant a friend's girlfriend. Forbidden love, huh? Sounds dramatic. He didn't laugh. Instead, he really looked at me. "I'm serious." The way he said it sent a shiver down my spine. Something about his expression, his body language, it all felt off. A silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. "Who is it?" I asked, my heart pounding. He hesitated before answering. "You." My breath caught in my throat. For a second, I thought I misheard him. But the way his eyes searched mine told me he meant it. I wanted to laugh, to tell him to stop joking. But I couldn't. His face held no trace of humor, only raw, unfiltered emotion. I shook my head, trying to make sense of what was happening. "Daniel, we're family." "I know," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I've tried to stop feeling this way, but I can't. I love you." My chest tightened. The words hung in the air, impossible to take back. I stood up, needing space, needing air. This was insane. It couldn't be real. But the way he looked at me, the pain, the hope, the fear, it was real. I wanted to walk away, to pretend this conversation never happened. But deep down, I knew things would never be the same again. I avoided Daniel for days, hoping the distance would make this whole thing disappear. But it didn't. His words echoed in my head. No matter how hard, I tried to shut them out. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, the raw honesty in his expression, the desperation in his voice. It terrified me. When we finally spoke again, he didn't apologize. He didn't take it back. Instead, he doubled down. "I meant every word," he said. "And I know you feel something too." I denied it, of course. How could I not? But deep inside, a small voice whispered that he wasn't entirely wrong. I cared about him more than I wanted to admit. The way he understood me, the way he always made me feel safe. No one else had ever made me feel that way. But it didn't mean we could cross that line. He wasn't willing to let go so easily. "I'm not asking for anything crazy," he said one night. "Just let yourself think about it. Really think about it." I wanted to say no, to shut the door, and never look back. But I couldn't. That night, I lay in bed replaying every memory, every lingering glance, every moment that had felt different but never questioned. Was it really just sibling love all these years? Or had we been fooling ourselves? The internal battle consumed me. I kept telling myself it was wrong, that it would ruin everything. But the more I fought it, the more the truth pushed through. He wasn't my blood. He wasn't some random stranger. He was the person who had always been there for me, who knew me better than anyone. So, against every rational thought, I made my decision. I met him outside one evening, my heart hammering in my chest. "If we do this," I whispered, "it has to stay between us. No one can ever know." His eyes lit up with something I hadn't seen before: relief, joy, maybe even love. "I don't care about anyone else," he said. "I just want you." For the first time, I let myself feel it. When he touched my hand, I didn't pull away. When he leaned in, I didn't stop him. It was terrifying, thrilling, and completely reckless. But in that moment, it felt inevitable. For weeks, we lived in a world of stolen moments and secret glances. Every time we were alone, the air between us felt electric, dangerous. We knew what we were doing was risky, but neither of us could stop. The more we hid, the more intoxicating it became. But deep down, a small part of me wondered, how long could we keep this secret? And what would happen if the truth ever came out? Keeping the secret was harder than I imagined. Every touch, every stolen glance felt like fire waiting to ignite. At home, we acted normal, but when we were alone, everything changed. The rush of it all, the danger, the intensity, made it impossible to resist. But with every secret moment, the weight of guilt grew heavier. My best friend noticed the change first. "You're different," she said one day. "Like you're hiding something." I laughed it off, but the way she studied me made my stomach twist. Daniel, on the other hand, wasn't as careful. He started getting bolder, lingering too long when no one was looking, letting his eyes betray him in public. "You need to be careful," I warned. "People will notice." He just smiled. "Let them." But I couldn't afford to be reckless. I knew if anyone found out, it wouldn't just ruin our relationship, it would destroy our family. And yet, despite the risk, I kept going back to him. His presence was addictive, a pull I couldn't resist. Then came the night that changed everything. We were alone in the house, the tension between us unbearable. The way he looked at me, the way he said my name, it sent shivers down my spine. I knew what was going to happen, and I let it. The next morning, the guilt hit me like a tidal wave. What had we done? How had we let it go this far? I avoided him all day, convincing myself it was over. But when he finally found me, he didn't look guilty. He looked sure. "I love you," he said simply, like it was the easiest thing in the world. I wanted to believe love was enough. I wanted to believe we could live in our little bubble forever. But the truth was, we were playing a dangerous game, and deep down, I knew it couldn't last. The first real crack appeared when my stepmother pulled me aside one evening. "Have you noticed how close you and Daniel have become?" she asked casually, but her eyes were sharp, searching. My heart pounded. "He's my stepbrother. Of course we're close." She nodded slowly, but didn't look convinced. That was the moment I knew. Someone was watching. Someone was suspecting. And once suspicion started, the truth was only a matter of time. I told Daniel we needed to stop. "This isn't sustainable," I whispered. "Someone will find out." He shook his head, refusing to accept it. "Then let them. I don't care anymore." But I did. And whether he wanted to see it or not, the walls were already closing in. The secret didn't last. It never could. I just didn't expect it to unravel so quickly, or so brutally. One evening, I walked into the house and felt it immediately. The shift in energy. The silence that was too heavy. My stepfather sat at the dining table, his face unreadable. My mother stood beside him, arms crossed, eyes filled with something I couldn't place. And Daniel, he wouldn't even look at me. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice barely steady. Then came the words that sent my world crashing down. "Do you have something to tell us?" My stepfather's voice was calm, but the threat underneath was unmistakable. My breath caught. I felt like a trapped animal, my mind racing for a way out. I turned to Daniel, silently begging him to say something, to defend us. But he just sat there, staring at the floor. "Tell me this isn't true." My mother's voice was barely above a whisper. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. The air in the room felt suffocating. Someone had found out. Someone had seen something, heard something. And now, everything was exposed. Then came the final betrayal. It wasn't my fault. Daniel's voice was quiet, shaky. She was the one who started it. I froze. I couldn't have heard him right. But when I looked at him, he still wouldn't meet my eyes. He was throwing me under the bus. He was saving himself. Shock turned to anger, then to something deeper, something hollow and cold. Are you serious? My voice cracked. You're blaming me? I didn't know what to do, he mumbled, finally looking at me, but there was no remorse in his eyes. Just fear. Fear of consequences. Fear of losing everything. So instead, he let me take the fall. I laughed, but it was bitter, broken. Unbelievable. My stepfather didn't wait for more explanations. You need to leave, he said, his tone final. I looked at my mother, searching for something. Understanding, forgiveness. But she just shook her head, turning away. That hurt more than anything. I packed my bags in silence. Daniel never spoke, never tried to stop me. He had made his choice. I had risked everything for him, but when it came time to stand beside me, he chose to save himself. As I walked out of the house, I felt nothing. No tears. No heartbreak. Just emptiness. Looking back, I realize now that love built on secrecy and betrayal never lasts. It burns too fast, too hot, and when it's over, all that's left is ash.